welcome to my Should You Buy the iPhone 4S in 2018? So this is the iPhone 4S. This phone was released way back in 2011. This was one of the phones that Steve Jobs worked on, so you can see classic design. So the iPhone 4S has a 3.5-inch display. It runs the Apple A5 chip, which is 800 megahertz dual core processor. The front camera is a 0.3 megapixel shooter and the rear camera is an 8 megapixel shooter accompanied by just one single white flash. The resolution of the display is 640 by 960 pixels. That gives it a pixel density of 326 ppi. The RAM on this device is just 512 MB. This device originally shipped with iOS 5 and is only updatable till iOS 9.3.5. This current device is an 8 GB. They were also available in 16 and 32 gigs. So now let's talk about design of the iPhone 4S. The iPhone 4S was one of the devices that Steve Jobs worked on. So as you can see, the design is really gorgeous. There's no popping out cameras or anything like that. There's a lot of attention to detail with the phone. It's a really good phone. In terms of durability of the device, as you can see, the device has fallen down quite a bit and it has had a few dings on the sides, a few chips, a few scuffs, but overall the device has held up pretty well. Yes, the back glass panel is prone to shattering if it directly comes in contact with the ground, but you don't have to worry, as these back glass panels aren't that expensive for replacement, and you can self-swap them yourself. You don't have to go to Apple. Now, coming to the software of the iPhone 4S, the 4S shipped with iOS 5 and has received an update only till 9.3.5. There you can see the version number 13G36. In my opinion, in terms of performance, Apple made a big mistake allowing the iPhone 4S to be updated to iOS 9. It did perform extremely well on iOS 7. It started lagging a bit on iOS 8, but on iOS 9, the performance is just pathetic. The phone is almost unusable. It would take someone of extreme patience to just use this entire phone for a day. As you can see, let's just go through a couple of apps and you guys can check for yourself the performance of this iPhone 4S on iOS 9. So let's just start with messages. Just look at the time it takes to load. Calendar. You can see photos. Camera. Just look at that lag. And we take a photo. Look, the camera isn't even activated right now. We just take a photo. Another photo. Okay, let's check the photos. Look at the lag. Let's go home. About weather. You gotta wait a really long time for this phone on iOS 9, whereas on iOS 6 this phone just flies. I will be doing a video soon on how to downgrade an iPhone 4S from iOS 9 to iOS 6, so stay tuned for that. It really just takes a really long time to load the App Store. And still, look at the lag. It's unresponsive, it's barely loading. It's not a problem with the Wi-Fi connection. The Wi-Fi is perfectly fine. Just look at that. So as you can see, overall the 4S just isn't cutting it right now in 2018 in terms of performance, especially with third-party apps. It's horrendous. It's just a nightmare to use this phone on iOS 9. At YouTube, it barely loads. So overall, a score out of 10, I would just give it around 2 out of 10 for the software performance and stability, because this phone is just dead on iOS 9. Coming to the battery life of the iPhone 4S on iOS 9, the device has a 1430 mAh battery. So to begin with, it's not pretty great. And iOS 9 has really hit the battery pretty hard. If you're just using the phone for a very light task, just for example, you just want to use it for a call and a message, without the Wi-Fi or without accessing the internet, it's fine. You might get through an entire day, but the moment you start accessing the internet and start doing just a little bit of heavy usage. For example, maybe you watch a couple of 2-3 YouTube videos, you want to play a game, you need to look at mail or go to the app store, the battery will drop significantly, and this phone just can't even make it half the day. So you will, if you're looking at getting the 4S, you will need to also invest in a battery backup charger. Also, you will have to carry the charger of the 4S around and top it up at least thrice throughout the whole day, because this battery just can't make it with iOS 9 throughout the day. However, a fun fact is I recently downgraded this phone up to iOS 6 and the battery lasted the entire day despite what I was doing. So iOS 9, yes, it really has affected the battery of the 4S pretty badly. Regarding the cameras of the iPhone 4S, as I said, the front camera is just a 0.3 megapixel camera, and the rear camera is just an 8 megapixel shooter accompanied by just a single LED flash. In terms of the camera, as you can see, the performance is pretty laggy. If you're going to use this phone for really good photos, I highly suggest you don't, because you might just miss your moment by the time you fire up the camera. In terms of the feature set of the camera, yes, you do get the normal features that every iPhone camera has. You have photo, square panel, video and time lapse, but you do not get the slow motion video. Also, you do not get features such as live photos and the other new features that the newer iPhones do get. In terms of app support, the iPhone 4S is quite okay on iOS 9 because most of the apps in the App Store require a minimum of iOS 9 to be downloaded. So let's just have a look at a random couple of apps, whether it could be downloaded on this phone or not. For example, this one, just look at the lag. This one requires iOS 7, that's great. Let's go to another app, Indian stickers. This, you cannot use it on this one as the new sticker feature was only introduced in iOS 10, so out of the question. NDTV, let's have a look. There you go, iOS 9 or later. How about, let's have a look at Tinder. Where is it? There you go, iOS 9 or later. So as you can see, most of the apps do require a minimum load of minimum software requirement of iOS 9. So there's no need to worry. If you're getting the 4S, app support is pretty okay, iOS 9.1. So no need to worry in terms of app support. You're covered there. Now, about my verdict on should you get the iPhone 4S in 2018, or is it even worth considering the 4S? In my opinion, the 4S is just not worth it anymore in 2018. Yes, it would make an amazing, brilliant collector's item if you love collecting iPhones, as it's one of the few models that Steve Jobs worked on, one of the iconic classics of the Apple iPhone history. One of the only models apart from the iPhone 10 and the 8 Plus that sport this gorgeous glass back. And yes, I know it looks pretty dirty, but when it's clean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks really premium. It's got a really good premium feel in the hand, and it's a really good device. Also, if you are interested, you could purchase the iPhone 4S for pretty cheap prices. I've seen a couple of them on OLX for 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. So if you get it around that price range, it's worth it. Also, do remember, please do not get the 8 gig version that I have, because 8 gigs is just not enough. As even with a stock clean install of iOS 9, out of 8 gigs you may just have around 3.5 gigabytes to work with. So do not get the 8 gig version, go to the 16 or 32 gig version. Also, this phone is capable to be downgraded to 6.1.3. I will be doing a video on that soon. You can get the 4S if you are interested in downgrading, because the performance on iOS 6 is much better than the performance on iOS 9. The 4S just flies on iOS 6, whereas on iOS 9 the performance is absolutely horrible, as you've seen. So thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you have a great day ahead.